Hey, welcome to Film Flashback. This week, in honor of Steven Spielberg's new movie, Ready Player One, we decided to go back and watch his first ever feature, a 1971 made-for-TV film called Duel. So, how would you describe it in 2 sentences?
I only need one word. Anxiety is what I felt watching this movie. Listen, Steven Spielberg, to me, is the best director of all time. I mean, you name it. This guy, everything he touches is gold. It's in the 70s, and it's his first feature film, made-for-TV movie. Short shooting schedule, I believe.
10 days is what he was budgeted for.
If you gave me 10 days, I couldn't... Could I make it? No, I couldn't.
It takes us 3 days just to shoot one of these.
Exactly. And I get that, comedies want to make people laugh, and horror, you want them to feel scared, but I just felt anxious for an hour and a half.
If you watch him talk about the movie, Spielberg talk about the movie, he talks about it as an exercise in suspense. So what he was essentially trying to do, it sounds like, is make his Hitchcock movie. It's just about a man, nameless man, who is being chased by a truck, and Duel is admittedly very, very simple.
It's one tone. Stylistically, it's shot very well, looked awesome, but the story sucked. It's basically a story about road raging in Palmdale, in the high desert outside of LA, and it's I don't know where this guy's going. I know he's got a wife because he called her once. But I don't know anything about him except
he's going to a meeting.
Yeah, he's going to a meeting. Could be anything. I don't know. I don't know what he does. Is he a drug dealer? I don't know. Why is this guy running him off the road? Maybe cut him off.
I don't know. I think the ambiguity there is kind of part of it, too, because you're not supposed to be I'm going to watch the story of a drug dealer, or I'm going to watch the story of even, an actuary. You're just supposed to be watching the story of a man.
What he did a really good job of is making you feel like you are the guy.
I'm going to talk about that truck for a while. It's got a face on it, essentially.
It does look like, I think the movie Cars was derived from this movie.
It's just brown and sludgy and covered in bug splatter.
You need several shots if you got scraped by it.
Essentially a monster. It's almost a monster movie.
Yeah, I can see it that way. But I will say, the scariest part of the entire movie is when there's a rattlesnake. And the rattlesnake in a cage.
13.
The rattlesnake cage breaks, and now rattlesnakes are everywhere. That's when I lost it. This guy knows horror. Shit. Oh, God. Oh my God. This guy knows what he's doing.
Well,
I'd rather that guy run me off the road every day of the week than have to deal with a bunch of rattlesnakes.
Oh, yeah, because there's the old lady. She's got a gas station.
As you do. As an old lady, you definitely want a bunch of...
She has a gas station, and she also has 13 terrariums filled with dangerous spiders and rattlesnakes, and the truck starts coming through, and all hell breaks loose.
It's almost like if someone gave us a camera and money, and we were making our first film... You want to try all these fun, different things that don't necessarily make sense. You're not necessarily telling a story with all those things. It's just cool. It's just a cool shot. It's not necessarily advancing the story or telling a story from that standpoint. It is literally just a cool shot.
There's definitely
a film school style vibe to it.
100%, and not in a bad way. He basically didn't use music. The score is almost absent, and you really feel it because then the sounds of the truck and the car and everything else, the ambiance, then becomes the score. There's no John Williams string section in this movie. You know what? So what's the interesting thing about that, if you watch Baby Driver, for example, in Dunkirk, one of the things they try to do now with scores is, or not with every movie, but those two movies in particular, is try to marry the score to what's happening in the movie. Which they kind of do at scores before, but they try to make it sound like the sounds would be coming for Dunkirk, sounding like a jet and matching, the score more that way, or shooting even
to match
more
the score.
Integrated.
Really, yeah. Exactly. So it sounds more. I don't know if practical is the right word from that standpoint.
Sometimes, yeah. So this is almost like a great movie to watch if you're a Spielberg fan, for the fact that John Williams isn't there. That massive score.
That's probably why I didn't like it. I think it's the John Williams effect. God, he could score me sitting on a couch eating nachos and be #1 hit. I think that's got to be it. And no Tom Hanks. There's no Tom Hanks in this movie.
No, there's no Tom Hanks. Although Tom Hanks would have been really good in this part.
Tom Hanks would have been great as the truck.
He's been 12.
Okay, so if you're interested in seeing Duel, but you don't want to know about anything about the third act or how it ends, go watch it now, because we are about to give it all away.
so we mentioned you're feeling anxiety this whole time, and they're showing this truck, and the whole time on the bumper it says, everyone on this truck.
Flammable.
So yeah, flammable, explosive. Do not have cigarettes by this thing, and like the whole time you're going like,
whatever you do.
Yeah, part of the burning anxiety is like, when is this thing gonna blow up? Like, it's gonna blow up and it's gonna be great. Like, I just need to see it blow up. And I'll be goddamned if this thing falls off a cliff, tumbles down a cliff.
The car itself, I think the car's kind of on fire.
It was one of the most underwhelming endings of anything that I've ever seen. Without a doubt.
We have finally solved the riddle of why Spielberg had to change the ending of Jaws from Peter Benchley's book to the most ridiculous explosion in movie history. A shark blowing up because he didn't get the explosion he needed out of Duel.
See, was it a budget thing?
I mean, in this, he just did it Buster Keaton style. He just literally just drove. They did a Dead Man's Clutch and just shoved the thing off of a cliff, and they just had like 5 cameras rolling, one take. And
I still think, you know how long it would take me to blow up that truck? 10 seconds. You could have 2 hours of shooting. I'll load that thing up with dynamite, and I'll send it off the cliff, and I will blow that mother up.
And in the end, there is no reveal of who the driver is, too. So you want to talk about unsatisfying endings?
Matthew told me that Clint Howard was actually the guy that plays the truck driver, and so they might have ruined the whole scene for me. So they're showing all these different dudes, these cowboys that it could be in the bar. I'm going like, well, Clint Howard's not even in here, so I don't know where this scene's going, but I don't. A little bit.
Clint Howard
like
was busy filming Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, he's Ice Cream Man number 8.
Yes.
We don't know who the driver is. We don't know what his motivation is, but like we talked about it earlier, where the truck's a monster. I don't know what Godzilla's thinking. I have no idea. I just know it's a monster and scared. King Kong. Like they have a little bit more. There's a little bit more depth actually in those characters than the truck and the truck driver.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like you actually kind of know what they're into.
Yeah, like a lot more. And Frankenstein's monster has way more personality even than this truck does. It makes you. It has kind of the motive of almost a Michael Myers, like pure evil kind of serial killer vibe to it. But no one ever explains that. No one ever says this truck and this, has been seen all over the country. Like, I had to watch the special features to figure out that license plate thing wasn't just supposed to be, well, you don't know where it came from. That it was supposed to be like, this is a collection of cars that he's killed. I was like, oh, that's very cool. You might want to have thrown that into the movie.
See, I think I sympathize more with the truck. If you have been ever in LA or in traffic, like I sympathize. I'm like, there's many people. I drive to Palmdale sometimes. Like, you know what I want to do to this guy? Like, run him around. I'll duel this guy right off the road. I just assume the truck wins and runs the guy off the road and kills the other guy. Like with the ending, I think that would have been more satisfying to me.
If the truck won.
Yeah, if the truck won. Like, I had zero satisfaction. Like, where the guy makes his meeting on time now. Like, I don't.
My favorite is when it's fallen over and it's tipped over on its back and the guy walks up to the cliff and he's looking down and you're like, come on, and then it's credits.
Deflating. Yeah.
Sunset, walking into the sunset. Well, anyway, let's hope that Spielberg has learned 1 or 2 lessons from Duel, so that when we go see Ready Player One this weekend, we'll give him a second chance, right?
That guy Spielberg, he'll catch a break one of these days, I think. He showed some signs of being a pretty good director.
We're forgiving.
Yep. So we will see you next time.
Take it easy.